assistant associate head football coach at Ashland University, Doug Geiser, and we're going to talk about Division II football and also just the idea of recruiting and money and scholarships and signing dates and everything we can with this. So I'm going to bring in Doug Geiser right now, and we're going to talk football. Thank you. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, John. How you doing?
You got to slide down just a little bit. I can only see, I can't see. There you go. There you go. Plus, everybody's got to see that 1950 haircut you have on.
I need a haircut right now.
Okay. As I said earlier, he is the associate head football coach at Ashland University. And that whole staff are good friends of mine, and they're good to me. So, Doug, let's talk about Division II football. Everybody knows Division I, obviously, a little bit about Division I-A, and a lot of people know about Division III, the Heidelbergs, the Northerns, the BWs, the Mounts, excuse me, but not everybody knows about Ashland and Findlay and Tiffin, Division II football.
Division II football is probably closer to Division I than what people realize. It's closer to Division I than it is Division III. I coached at Akron from 1995 until 2003, and we're recruiting a lot of the same players we recruited and signed when we were at Akron at that time. And we're successful in the MAC, and won the MAC East title in the late 90s. So. The guys I look for scholarship guys that we think are going to help us win a national title.
And the key, I think, is development.
Yes.
I think that's the key in college football, Division I schools, even the big schools. So I don't know how much they develop kids. Now, you haven't said anything about it, but you probably follow the Miami Dolphins once in a while, don't you?
Oh yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm. We got a tight end that plays for them right now, Adam Shaheen, and classic example. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. Just like the MAC is a developmental league, you got to develop the kids. In Division II, you got to develop kids, and you're not going to get the ready-made guys. They're snatched up at the bigger levels. So, guys like Adam Shaheen. I mean, he came to us. He was probably when I first met him in high school. He was about 6'3", 6'3.5", about 190 pounds. And was already committed to play basketball at Pitt Johnstown, Division II over in the PSAC. And he called me about 15 months later. He had already grown to about 6'5", 220. And when he came to us, talk about transfer, he came to us, 8 months later, he was already 6'6", 235 pounds. A couple of years later, he's 280 and being a second-round draft pick.
I also remember one more. I mean, the other schools do that too. I think everyone's, Saginaw, they're got guys, playing the division or pro football. The other one always comes to my mind, and I liked him, but he was just a little short for me for Division I, and really heavy was the boy over at Valley Forge. Now,
Jamie Meter.
Is that before? I don't think that's before you guys, is it?
No, Jamie Meter is with us as well. Jamie
yeah, and if you're familiar, he's playing a little bit with the Browns. I don't know if he's still with them or not.
He's not with the Browns. He went from the Browns to the Seahawks. And then I think last I heard he was with either the Lions or back with the Seahawks, one of the two.
Okay. Well, that's good. He's making more money than I am playing pro football or ever
you and me both. You and me both.
You must have something on the ball.
Yeah.
Tell me about Division II. You give scholarships, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of a Cliff Notes version of the way that works. Everybody knows Division I, Ohio State, the MAC, Cincinnati, and they get 85 scholarships, and you're either on a full ride or you're not. Okay. And they're restricted as far as number of guys they can have in camp. Okay. When camp starts in August, they're restricted to 110. Division I-AA, okay, is 63. Now they can either offer fulls or they can break them up and go partials. In Division II, you're allowed up to 36 scholarships. Okay, because what I usually tell kids is because you want a lot more than 36 guys in your team because of depth, we have to break them up. We can go full if we want, but we're usually going to break them up. Okay, so for us, the average scholarship athletically for us is probably half a ride, 50%.
Now, that's pretty good, Coach, I think. And the other thing is they can find ways, even at the big schools, an athletic scholarship or a football scholarship is not a total athletic. I mean, they find other ways to pad that scholarship a little bit. I mean, money's money. Yeah. But I'm sure you guys can do the same thing.
We find ways to supplement also. And what we try to explain to recruits all the time in Division II, don't get hung up on what the number is athletically. Okay. Look at the bottom line. That's the most important thing. What are you paying out of pocket, if at all? Don't get hung up on the ego portion of it there. What's the best deal financially for you?
Okay. That's really good. And talking about scholarships, it's the same as Division I to a certain extent. Now, February 3rd, I think, is your signing date here for your scholarships. Now, could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. The early signing date does not apply to Division II football. Okay. Right. And we actually had a couple commits, back closer to, I think it was December 16th with the early sign date. And they called me a week before then, and they're all flustered, like, Coach, I haven't my papers yet. I'm like, well, relax. You can't sign in December. That's only Division 1A and 1AA. Okay, to use the old vernacular. With us, our first opportunity to sign is February 3rd. It's always the first Wednesday in February. And common, which is, it's kind of unusual. People don't realize this. Signing date is actually a signing period. It's actually a 6-week signing period.
That's right.
Sign and sign that NLI and accept a scholarship. So if you don't do it on the 3rd, that doesn't mean you're locked out. Now, the thing that is real is most of the times, most of the money's gone by the 3rd. So there is a sense of urgency. So you don't have to sign by the 3rd, but you might be shutting yourself out of opportunities if you don't sign by the 3rd.
More so now than this year with the craziness. And I think that with that is, got kids are shopping around and stuff. That's silly. A boy lost, he ended up doing okay a few years ago, quarterback, and his dad was even begging me to talk to him. He had Ohio University and a couple offered him and said, hey, you got to let us know by Friday to sign. I mean, this is Division I, but I think it's almost applicable to you guys as well, Division II and, the Division II schools. And he said, well, I'm going to work out for, I think it was Vanderbilt and Duke, and he was a Division I basic quarterback. Mm-hmm. And so, so Ohio University, he didn't call them on Friday. So they got on the internet, found 2 quarterbacks out of the South. I mean, you can't, it's just the nature of the beast. You just can't mess around. And it's so hard for kids to understand that. Yeah. We talked about signing date. What would be, Doug, what's your advice for kids that you kind of said it, not sign, and kind of hold out and say, well, I don't know for sure. Mm-hmm. Coach, I don't know for sure what I want to do. What's your advice? Let's even go on Division II schools in Ohio and Michigan. What would be your advice?
I would say this: you got to look at this. If you're waiting for that Division I scholarship for this class, you're probably waiting on nothing right now. Yeah. Okay, because those schools, for the most part, filled up by the early signing day on December 16th. And if they haven't, I mean, I've got a number of friends coaching in the MAC, for example. Even then, they're not looking at high school seniors anymore. They have a couple openings. They're keeping slots open for graduate transfers. That's specifically for what they told me. Okay, so they're not even considering high school seniors. So if you're waiting for that MAC offer, chances are it's not going to happen for you. Okay, so you need to start looking at the other levels, just for your own sake, as far as money wise, because right now, I mean, we're almost done ourselves with our scholarship money. And now we're usually not that case until later in January, but this year has kind of accelerated everything since we didn't have our season. So, for us, I'd say we're probably 80 to 85% of our scholarship money is done for this year's class, so I think a lot of times my father taught me a long, long time ago, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So if you don't have that Division I offer right now, you're probably not going to get it. I don't want to burst bubbles or anything, stomp on somebody's dreams, but that's probably real at this point. If you have Division IIs, you probably want to go somewhere where you're wanted. Okay. And he's willing to invest in you. and that sort of thing. I even think that's even bigger than a preferred walk-on. I mean, if those schools are really interested in you to walk on, why don't they offer you money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, go where you're wanted. Go where you're wanted.
I think that, and I have a couple more questions and we'll be done. I think when that preferred walk-on, and when I had my website, I used to do blogs on this. You can call it PWO, preferred walk-on, member of let's see, what's the word? Invited to play football at Ohio State. But the bottom line is, the only thing to me, a preferred walk-on, you get to report with all these other guys on the first day. After that, you're a walk-on.
Yeah. Well, the thing that people need to realize also is this: even with us, we try to recruit past our scholarship players every year. Okay, we try to get better scholarship players every year. We don't even worry about walk-ons.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, that's the same thought in Division I. I mean, we're more apt to develop and look at a walk-on than they are. But even then, walk-ons are an afterthought. They're an afterthought, and you need to realize that going in. And I really can't tell guys that when I'm recruiting against that, because it sounds like I'm negative recruiting. But that's reality. I've been at that level. That's reality.
Yeah. The other question, I have two more. The other question is, what I know the GLIAC, I know the Division IIs are doing it. What about the kids that are having trouble at the big? They've gone to Indiana, or they've gone to Miami, or they've gone here, and they have to bounce. I call them bounce backs. They come back and say, "Coach, I'm really unhappy. They told me I'm not a part of the program." How much of that do division schools take in? I mean, there are some schools in your conference that are really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're really good at it. What's your general opinion of that? Well, what's your thought on that?
Well, twofold on that. I'm always aware in recruiting of guys that have multiple Division I offers. Okay. And I don't spend a lot of time with them if it looks like that's where they're going to go. However, I will make contact, give them my card and say, hey, if things don't work out, then give me a call. Now, you go there, though, you make that commitment to go there, you go to finish. But if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, give me a call. Okay. Now, I will say this. I know things happen. Sometimes things don't work out. I am a little leery at times with transfers, though. Yeah. Okay. Because you've made a commitment once and you're going back on your word. Okay. Are you not willing to fight through? Okay. Now, I know sometimes people just want to play and they know there's not going to be an opportunity. I understand that part. But if you're running away from competition, then so it's two things I usually go through my mind there. So you got to kind of look at it each on an individual basis, and why are they transferring? Okay, why are they transferring?
Yeah. Along with that, I think you can hit it once in a while, but you better really research junior college transfers. Yes. I mean, I'm talking about Division I. I got off the subject. Division I and Division II, because there's a reason they're there.
Yes.
There's a reason they're JCs, but I know it works out. But I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying be leery of that. Yeah. And that's really good, Coach. I'm so interested in Division II because honestly, I think a lot of the Mid-American Conference players should be playing Division II. I'm not saying it should be, Doug. I'm just saying it might be better for them. Now, if they want to get, it's just like walking on at a big school. We'll use Ohio State. I had a parent a couple of years ago. He had a scholarship back offer and also could walk on at Ohio State. And I said, does he really want to play football? Well, yeah. I said, well, you better take the MAC offer then, because, I said, I have all these Ohio State people mad at me. But I said, now, if you want to wear Ohio State gear and go to the games and be in the bleach, and I'm not being negative. If you want those things, and if you want to tell your neighbors, Johnny got in today. He's not going to travel, but that's what you're going to get. Yeah. Most of the time. Yeah. Last thing, promise. I try to keep these. I joked with you on the phone. Anytime after 20 minutes, I turn the sermons off at church. Because people are doing that with us. You've done a great job. The kids that I worry about are the prospects of the class of 2022. And that'll affect you a little bit. But now let's talk. Because you know what's going on with Division I. I'm concerned about, because the way it looks to me, I don't think they're going to have, I think they're going to move that date April 15th. I think it's going to go June 1st. I just, especially now, I don't think, but it's a good move. So if it goes June 1st, I'm worried about camps and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, unless they say, and you can't probably really do this, you're limited to 100. Or, you know, and keep them spread out and do 10 of them. You know, like Ohio State. Now, I'm not, their camps are one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
You guys work it. You go down there, there's 1,000 kids for one day, and 500 parents and jock sniffers running around. But what do you tell the 2022 kids? Because, you know, I'm going to get that. What we do, Mr. McCallister, because they don't know and the colleges don't know.
Yeah.
So what would be your educated opinion?
Well, I would think the first piece of information advice I would give them is make sure you take care of the things you can control. Okay, before you even get into the camp situation, what happens?
For sure.
Okay, which is number one, grades. Take care of your grades. Okay, number two, and that's number one. Number two, take care of your training. Okay, just because all this stuff going on, you still got to train and develop your body physically. So when you get the opportunities to show yourself in front of college coaches, that you're in good shape to do it. And you're in good academic shape to do it. So you don't get rid of opportunities with that. Okay. Now, and other than that, so I mean, those are the two most important things you can do. Don't worry about the things you can't control. Now, when they tell you you can make college visits and you can go to camps, now you're in a position to do that. And you're also positioned to put up good tape as a senior next fall then. Okay. Right. So that's probably the most important thing. Now, I know we're starting to get into a little bit too, you know, virtual tours and campus tours and that sort of thing. If there are teams that you have a genuine interest in, start doing your research yourself. So when those doors are open, where college coaches can get back out in high schools or have camps or have you on campus, now you're in a position that you have an educated opinion to do this. So it's going to put a little on the individual, you know, student athlete. But that's not a bad thing either. That's not a bad thing. Right.
In fact, what I'm going to do with my show here, or podcast or whatever, I call it a podcast. That sounds really cool. But is try to
like, cutting edge.
Yeah. Like I'm getting tonight, I'm doing an interview with the running back that's going down to LSU. And I, you know, and he was so happy. But I want to do it with younger kids too, because that's a chance for them to get exposure.
Yeah.
If I do an interview, and I'm not going to ask them the questions, you know, like, you know, the silly 24/7 questions and all that. But, you know, you don't want to know. You want to know what they're going to be doing 10 years from now. What was one of their craziest moments? These guys, it's time to learn the kids now a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for
Coach,
us
I'm going to leave you here, but I'm going to tell you a story. And you'll think I'm not going to talk about that quarterback coach you have. But he's a good friend, and I think the world of him.
Yep.
Here's what I like. One of the things I like about you. We were at a game, I don't know how many years ago. You and I were at a game watching an offensive lineman. I think it might have been Walsh. Maybe I can't remember where we were. But you're just like me. I don't know what that means, but you go to a game. You know, you don't have time to BS and talk about families. You may a little bit, but you're still concentrating on the game. You were so focused on that lineman and talk. We would discuss, you know, other things, but we didn't sit there and just talk about the weather and all these kind of things. And I thought that, and I'm blowing smoke in your ears here, but I thought that was so impressive to me that you did that, because every once in a while, I used to get guys say, I have my nose up in the air and stuff like that. And that's not true. If I drive 2.5 hours to watch a football player, I ain't going to be talking to you about the weather and politics and things like that. But I really appreciate you coming on. Yep. And like I said, you're in good company. Mike Mock was the first guy. So Matt
there we go.
Was the second. Thank you very, very much, Doug. I appreciate it.
Okay. Have a great day. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
We'll see you.